Hello everyone and welcome to my overview of Stateroom 1550 on the Jewel of the Seas. 1550 is a grand suite, which means it comes with a number of benefits, including access to the concierge, who can help resolve problems you might run into while you're on the ship, and they can normally book anything on the ship. You also gain access to priority boarding, which is a huge benefit. If you've never had it before, what that means is you show up at the port, you give your bags over to one of the bag attendants like you normally would, but then you follow the signs for suites and pinnacles. This puts you into a separate line, which is dramatically shorter, and they process you much quicker. Now, unofficially, and again, this is unofficial, it also means you can ignore your arrival time. You can show up pretty much when you want, but I'd recommend, showing up later than 10, maybe later than 11, but anytime, after 10:30, 11, you can just show up, get on the ship. Also, you'll have access to the concierge lounge. In that lounge, every night from 5 to 8 p.m., you're going to get free drinks. Throughout the day, there's going to be access to decent coffee in there. They have a bean grinding machine that will do lattes and everything like that for you. You also get access to reserve seating for most shows. Now, it's not all shows, but most shows, they will have a reserved seating area where you can go, show up pretty close to the start time, and not have to worry about finding a seat. Another big benefit of booking a grand suite like this, you get double crown and anchor points. What that means is every night of the cruise, you gain 2 points instead of 1. Now, those are the benefits for this ship. Some other ships have even more, but it's something you can research online to see what ship you're going on and what benefits you're going to get. So these older ships actually have probably the best laid out grand suites you're going to find. The newer ones might be a little bigger. They might have more amenities, but I've found they're a little less functional. Like this one, when you walk in, on your right, there's your bathroom. It's got one door so you don't run into any odd layouts inside the bathroom. On your left is your storage area. So the storage area is really functional. You can fit a ton of stuff over here. All three of those mirrors on the left, they open up where you can hang garments. You can actually pack your suitcases away in there. There's typically plenty of room. On the far one, you're going to find your safe and some life preservers. And this center console here, it's a nice place if you get room service. They can just put it there, and it's filled with drawers. So you won't have to worry about storage at all in this suite. So this is kind of what you're going to see when you walk in. You're going to notice it's a very open room. It makes it feel so much larger than it is. In contrast, on the Quantum and that level of ship, they got a little funky with the layouts, like they even put a wall in there. They feel so much more cramped. With this layout and its open design, it feels much larger. So here's your sitting area. Now the blue chairs, if you sit in one of those, you might not be able to get out. Oh, you will really sink down in them. I mean, they're comfortable, but for some people, if you have mobility issues, it might be a challenge to get out of them. Now that couch, it's a sleeper sofa. So if you are putting 4 people in this room, 2 of them are going to be sleeping there. So here's the master bed. What is it? It's 2 twins strapped together to make a king. You will notice a crease in the middle. You get nightstands on either side and more storage to the right. Now in that storage, you're going to find your hair dryer and a few other things. And there also is some power over there if you need to plug something in. You're going to notice the blue curtains. You close these to separate the room. That's how they do it. So if you have 4 people here, it's just going to be separated by a curtain if you want some privacy. One weird thing I found in this room was with the lighting. You can't turn off the lights in just this sleeping area. There's no way to do it that I could find. There's always going to be some lights on. No matter which buttons you push, it'll kill some lights and turn some others on, but never can you get complete dark in the bedroom, and never can you get complete dark in the other area. You have to turn all the lights off to do that. So now we're out on the balcony. It is a larger balcony than your standard balcony room. It's almost double. So you have your table, 2 chairs, and then you have 2 loungers. It's plenty of room. Even if you have 4 people out there, you can be out there comfortably. Now, I will warn you, it's not a very private balcony. As you see, on one side of you, there's gaps where people can just look in and see how you're doing. On the other end of it, if you lean over at all, yeah, people are going to be able to see you because of that bump in the ship. I will say, though, it is more private than those rooms. So when you're looking at the ship and you're picking your room, you might want to take that into consideration. So here we are in the bathroom. Right in front of us is the dual vanity, which is really nice. There's storage in the mirrors, and I mentioned that because on other ships that is not the case. But on these older ones, they have storage in the mirrors. Also storage in the middle. You get your classic cruise ship toilet over there on the right, and then your tub shower is on the left. Okay, here's the tub. Now, when you booked this room, you probably thought, if you've never been in the Grand Suite, ooh, we get a tub. They're horrible. At least on this ship, I've always struggled with them. Here's the problem. They're run by 3 nozzles in the middle there. The middle one is supposed to switch you between your tub and your shower. It's busted. Never worked. Couldn't get it to work. On the right is your cold water. On your left is your hot water. They're all handles. Now, typically when you have a handle in a bathroom, it's up and down to turn on and off or adjust it. With these, it's left to right. You have to keep that in mind, because if you do up and down instead of left and right, you're going to end up turning off your cold water, cranking your hot water, and burning yourself. So keep in mind, they are left to right turn. They are not up and down. The shower head. Oh, the shower head. And it's not just this ship. Most of the ships I have been on that have this adjustable shower head, it will spray everywhere. What I mean is when the ship is moving, it actually, without you knowing, it slowly turns with the tension. Then you go to turn the water on and you're not paying attention. It blows water right all over the bathroom. So yeah, you're going to struggle with this a little bit. You're going to have to adjust it every single time you get in the shower. You might even have to hold a little bit if the seas are moving. On top of that, if you have any mobility issues, do not book one of these rooms. This is a big step up to get in and out of this tub, and the handles are iffy at times. Getting in is almost harder than getting out. Getting out, you can put your hand on the vanity there and stabilize yourself as you get out. Getting in, you can try to do that in reverse, but it's not quite as easy. And again, it is a big step. If you have any mobility issues, you might not be able to get in and out of the shower. So for some final notes on the ship and the room, this is a non-adjoining room. That means there's no door that will lead to the room next to it. That also means it is quieter than an adjoining room. Typically, those adjoined rooms they're not insulated very well, especially the door, so a lot of noise can travel through it. The air conditioning was very good. We had no problems with that. You can get nice and cool in the room. This ship itself, it's an older ship. Its last overhaul was in 2016. That was only a $30 million overhaul, which means that's not a big renovation. They added some restaurants and some amenities. That's where the $30 million came from. Some parts of it will show its age. I mean, it is an older ship. We're going on solid 20 years old at this point. In 2024, there was a dry dock, but that was for maintenance. It was not a renovation. Basically, they were just touching up paint, checking the engines, things like that. Most lists of ships and when they're last overhauled will show 2020 or 2021. Those were not an overhaul. Those were basically a deep clean during COVID, where they anchored these ships in places and had a skeleton crew go through and maintain the ship and clean it. So yeah, if you see that on a list, that's all that was. It's not a bad ship by any means. If you like a smaller ship, you will love this one. It's easy to get around. No matter where you are in the ship, you're not far from another part of the ship. On the bigger ones, it can feel like you're going forever. On top of that, this has an excellent concierge lounge. Some of them have that were retrofitted with a concierge lounge have terrible concierge lounges. This one doesn't. This one has a nice outdoor seating area and plenty of seating inside. Well, I hope you enjoyed this overview of Stateroom 1550. If you have any questions, go ahead, leave a comment, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.